Hey, thanks for dropping by to the Planners on Purpose podcast, created by Naomi Tucker, CMP. Now, this space is for the event planners to encourage and empower you so that you can fully live your life on purpose. So before we dig in, please take a moment to subscribe so you get future shows. Now here she comes, your host, Naomi.
Well, hello everyone. This is Naomi. I hope you're doing well today. I'm excited to be here for another episode at the Planners on Purpose podcast, and I hope you're excited too. I'm excited to talk to you, and I just want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. Today, I wanted to just talk with you about getting the help that you need, especially when you're suffering from burnout and suffering from overwhelm. It's really important to be able to reach out to someone for assistance if you need some support. And the reason why this came top of mind is because I had an appointment today. It was a physical therapy appointment. And the reason why I was there is because I had a slight injury that I needed some support on. And I was lucky to be able to have a physical therapist that I had worked with in the past. And it was just so great. And it was so refreshing to be able to just have her give me a little bit of knowledge on what was happening with me and giving me some of the support and exercises that I needed to do in order to take care of myself so that I can be able to do more fun things with my family. So the reason why I was actually in the physical therapist's office is because me and my family went on a hike back in August. And we went to a beautiful place called the Apostle Islands, which is in Wisconsin. It's about at the most northern tip. And if you know Wisconsin, Wisconsin has so many hidden gems. I just absolutely love it. We have so many beautiful beaches and just little nooks and crannies. I just absolutely love finding all the new fun places. But we went up to Apostle Islands, and again, it was a beautiful place. And we're right there on the coast, right by Lake Superior. And there's so many amazing, immaculate hikes that are there and just beautiful terrain to hike through. We peer into different sea caves as we're on the hike, and it's just so amazing. And my family decided to take a hike there. It's awesome. And I believe the hike was about a 3-mile hike that we took. And we had thought that it was going to be a slightly moderate hike, but it ended up to me being a little bit more, a little bit more than that. So on the way back from this hike, we were just super exhausted. I think that every single one of us couldn't move for like the rest of the day. We kind of hobbled into our dinner spot and had a really nice meal. But after that, we were done. We were out. But what I noticed in myself that I was having some pain, some hip pain, and that hip pain just continued. And it just was not going away. And I was trying to do everything that I could to be able to triage it. And it just was not working, not at all. And it got to the point where it's like, you know what? Instead of me letting this progressively get worse, let me go ahead and get some more support. So I went to go see a doctor, and of course, just said, let's get in some physical therapy. So again, it's been great that I'm seeing her, and she's helped me before and she's helping me again. And I just got to thinking while I was in her office, just the things that she was helping with. Like she was helping to alleviate my pain, just the subtle things that I was doing that she knew that I could change just slightly to have some pain relief. And I was just admiring her for her expertise. And then that made me just think about, it made me think about you. It made me think about you all. I was thinking about event planners because I know that many event professionals suffer from overwhelm and suffer from burnout. And it can be a struggle sometimes just maintaining our mental health. It can be a struggle with just making sure that we are that steady, that duck that nobody sees is wading in the water and trying to keep themselves afloat, right? And many times it's hard for us to be able to really understand that what we go through mentally has effect on our overall well-being. And sometimes we need to make sure that we reach out and get the support that we need before it goes too far. So it's just important to be aware of the fact that you do have a great power, and that power is being vulnerable. I know sometimes we can see vulnerability as weakness, but it is a superpower. And vulnerability also can be the pathway to change. It also can be the birthplace for things like creativity. I just think that we need to embrace that vulnerability as event professionals and speak up and speak out and raise our hands and say, these are some areas that could use some additional support, or I see a better way in us doing this. Something to be able to help us to get that support that we need or that you need. I've been told from fellow event professionals, probably right when they were leaving, let's say, a position and went to a totally different job. And one of the reasons why they did that is because they were so burned out. Oh, I'm so burned out at this job. And so now I need to switch jobs and get to another job. I really love what I'm doing, but I need something different, right? And it would be so great if before a person got to that point that there was some support there to be able to help that person be able to sustain in that particular role. Because triaging it on our own is similar to me triaging my hip pain on my own. There's only so much that I can do before I need to raise a red flag and say, hey, I need some support. Because if I continue to just let it go, it can cause further implications to perhaps my whole body. So I think of burnout in the same way. And I think of being in a high stress state as similar. We need to be able to reach out to get the support that we need in order to get those quick wins so that we are able to sustain and be in our positions and still be in a place that we enjoy to work in. Now, you may be wondering, okay, well, how do I raise my hand, or who do I get support from? And there are several different areas that you can get support. So you can raise your hand to your leader or to your organization if you feel that that's a safe place to be able to do so. You can find a way to be able to have the right conversation, open up, be vulnerable, perhaps give some ideas on how your work can be easier or how it can be shifted, perhaps how things can be delegated. Have that conversation, because when people don't know that you need support, it's just out of sight, out of mind. So it really is up to you to raise your hand. Say, hey, I need the support. I need some additional support. Because with your leaders, they only see what they see. They see their workload reports or however it is. They don't necessarily know what exactly you may be going through that perhaps maybe having some additional stress on you. So it's important to really make that known. If you're not an employee and perhaps you're a leader or have your own company, having a coach for support can also help you get through these type of situations as well. So there's always different places that you can go in order to get the support that you need. You can also get accountability partners, and these accountability partners can also help you to make sure that you're continuing the commitment that you gave yourself. So you can ask them to jump on a call with you every Friday and talk you through maybe some of the steps that you put in place for yourself or some of the stressors that you're going through and help find ways to make it easy on you. That also can be a very great way to incorporate some accountability for yourself as well. So there definitely are these opportunities for you, but vulnerability, again, is the pathway. It is a power. It helps change happen, because when you raise your hand and when you talk to people and you ideate about what we can do to make things better, you basically are creating that change that you want to see. And that change can inspire innovation. And how cool would it be if you can innovate some sort of change at your organization to help everybody work easier, or to change a process so that everyone can actually feel the positive repercussions of you raising your hand and letting everyone know of what your concerns were. That's powerful. We talked in previous podcasts that event industry is probably the most overwhelmed industry in the world. We are stressed out, burned out, and instead of everyone being stressed out and overwhelmed, how cool would it be if everyone came together and lift the awareness of mental health and burnout so that we can inspire and make it easier for everyone? How can we change the perception on how burnout and overwhelmed is viewed? The only way that's going to happen is by us all raising our awareness and raising our hands and changing things in a good way. And it can be positive, and it doesn't have to be negative, and it doesn't have to be perceived as a weakness. It can just be perceived as leveling up and really paying attention to ourselves and really stepping into innovation, working differently, doing things differently, because we are all committed to embracing a little bit more ease. And, we're not going to wipe out all the stress, because obviously it's an industry that has a high amount of stress. There's lots of different change that happens, and that change creates those frustrations and can create that stress. So it's always going to be there somewhat. We just need to know how to be able to respond to the stressors and how we really navigate those moments of high pressure. We need to be able to dance with the stress that we have, because again, it's never going to go away. Where it gets tough is where the stress ends up getting toxic. So we need to be able to raise our hands. And when it gets to the point where it's overwhelming, and when you get to the point where you can no longer handle it, even before that, that is when we want to be able to reach out and get support and seek some, maybe even professional support, so that you can get the best help possible and be able to get change created quickly for yourself. So that's what I wanted to come to talk to you about. Really just talk to you about. Don't be afraid to raise your hand. There is strength in raising your hand. There is strength in vulnerability. Talk to a leader, talk to a professional to help you support how you navigate this season, especially if you're going through consistent seasons of burnout, because we want to protect your whole well-being as well as protect your passion that you have for your work that you do, because you matter, your health matters, and we want to make sure that you are well taken care of, because you are important. And we need you here in this industry, this beautiful industry of event planning. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you again so very much for listening and being here. And until next time, stay on purpose.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit the like button and tell us how much you enjoyed the show by leaving a message in the comments. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.